Hey everybody, welcome to the Holtcast episode 79. Jack Grimsey alongside Robert Lintott. As usual, Robert's back. We had James on last week, but anyways, Robert, how's it going?
It's going wonderfully because I'm not currently watching Aston Villa.
Oh yeah, well luckily no one was able to watch when we broke our unbeaten streak against Manchester City in the FA Cup 4-0.
Yeah, just got curb-stomped by a bunch of assholes. The only upside I can see into it is apparently Fabian Delph was in on goal, and was it Sterling stole it from him at the last second?
Oh, Delph, yeah, from what I heard, Delph wanted that goal really badly, and I mean you can understand why.
You can't always get what you want, Fabian. You usually can.
Yeah, but I mean he obviously has just been getting trolled by Villa fans the whole year, but now you look at it and why wouldn't you swap the worst team in the league for a team that has a legitimate chance to win the title for twice as much money?
Yeah, absolutely. We're shitty enough that at this point, if they were like, hey, do you want Delph back? I might say yes. Like, if I knew he could perform the way he did last year, I might let bygones be bygone.
Well, maybe when Pep Guardiola gets there and is like, this guy cannot kick a football more than like 20 feet, so no.
Yeah, no, he's gone. It was miserable. Thank God we didn't get to watch it because from all accounts it was an absolutely terrible match. Another penalty that apparently should have been given to Villa. I have no idea. This is just what I've heard. Villa should have had a penalty and we didn't get one, so thank God we didn't get to watch it.
I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. City were going to win that game.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, that's what we expected. I think the only thing that really sucks about it is 4-0 is a crappy score to lose by at home.
Yeah, at home that hurts for the fans that actually did come out. And I mean, you feel bad for any fans who've gone to games this year.
Absolutely. They have seen one win all season.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's get past City, move on to West Ham, and credit to the away fans. Speaking of the fans, you could hear them the whole match, and West Ham acknowledged it on Twitter after the fact.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, the away support is absolutely incredible. I like your segue there. Let's get away from one shit match and go to another shit match.
Yeah, but this one, it started out really positively, and that's probably why it's the worst.
Those first 17 minutes. So let's just look at the first 17 minutes. Villa were clearly in control. Villa looked like a side that could have gone on to win 2-0, 3-1. It was just a matter of time before they started scoring the way they were playing. So for those first 17 minutes there, it was actually a really encouraging bit of football.
Yeah, exactly. It was corner after corner right before the incident.
As it shall forever be known.
Yeah, well, it's kind of just one of many in this season. But, yeah, 17 minutes in, Jordan Ayew deliberately throws an elbow to the face of a West Ham player and gets himself sent off.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was he throws his right elbow to, Cresswell's arm thereabouts and tries to shrug him off, but Cresswell's apparently still too close. So rather than giving up and moving or just jockeying for position like a normal person, takes his left elbow and swings it into Cresswell's face.
Yeah, well, the first thing he had to do after, like you said, he tried to brush him off. Then he has to go, oh, is he right here? Is he right here? Oh, if I put my elbow up 6 inches, I'm going to get him right in the mouth. Bam.
Yeah, I mean, it was so clearly intentional. Every bit of it was a red card.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the elbows to the face that Libor Kozak received a couple weeks ago from Robert Huth against Leicester. Those were, he went out with his elbow and he led with it trying to win the ball, but it wasn't, I don't know. It's like premeditated kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. It was in the middle of play. I mean, I think those elbows that Kozak got should have been red cards the other day.
I think
they were in the run of play.
And penalties. I don't know if they were reds.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless of, they were at least in the middle of play. This was standing there, just deciding.
Yeah, waiting for a throw.
Yeah.
It's maybe not even going to go to you, so it kind of doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Just absolutely shambolic. Just utterly atrocious. Remy Gar couldn't even look at him as he came off the pitch.
No, I mean, he had every right to be disgusted. It had been a bad week with no transfers coming in, and obviously he was upset. I don't think he's going to leave the club, which a lot of people do, but I don't know. We'll see. It just keeps getting worse, and he has to be discouraged.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some rumor swirling around before the match, and I have no idea what the provenance of it was because we just got tweeted some random question about it on Tuesday saying, is there any truth to the rumor that Remy's going to leave after the match tonight? And, the obvious answer was no, there isn't. But at the same time, as much as we all knew that was BS, in the back of my head I went, but if he did, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be surprised. That's just, I mean, it's just how it happens at Villa lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's finish out this West Ham match, then we can talk about, that transfer window there a little bit and the shuttering of it. So after Ayew's an idiot, a few moments before, by the way, a lot of Villa fans are pissed off because they think we should have been given a penalty for a handball. What did you think about that call?
I mean, whatever, it's another penalty. We don't get penalties.
Yeah,
Unless someone's just absolutely clattered in the box, I don't expect to see a penalty. I was even surprised when Rudy Gestede won that penalty, the first time against West Ham over Christmas, and yeah, you just can't expect to see the ref pointing to the spot.
Yeah, no.
At least for Villa, you could. I mean, at the other end, why not?
It's I don't know. I guess my issue with that was I think it definitely could have been a penalty because it fit all of the definition that you need to give a penalty for a handball in the box and all that jazz. That said, I would have been so pissed off if that same thing had been given as a penalty against Villa.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of have to look at it both ways.
Yeah, and so, I mean, there's an emotional, and, there's the part of me that's a Villa fan that says, I don't care. If it even looked like he sort of glanced at his hand, it should be a handball and we should get a free penalty. But, of all the egregious non-calls that have happened to Villa lately, I put this in I can kind of understand it basket.
Yeah, I mean, it was a legitimate penalty shout. I mean, a lot more has been given for a lot less.
Yeah,
and even
absolutely.
More obvious incidents have gone unpunished, but
yeah, and a lot of people then going on to say, well, if that penalty had been given, Ayew wouldn't have been so frustrated and he wouldn't have thrown his elbow, and it doesn't really matter because the penalty wasn't given, and there's still no excuse to throw your elbow like that.
Yeah, no way. And what if he missed the penalty?
Yeah.
Or had to say, Adrian's a good keeper.
That's the doomsday scenario. Villa, after weeks of getting denied penalties, finally get one, and probably Gabby Agbonlahor takes it and shanks it wide right or something.
No, what if Ayew takes it, smashes it into the bar, and it goes behind into the stands? He run forward and punches Adrian in the face? Like, what?
I mean, that's got to be the nightmare scenario at this point, though, right? Villa are finally going to get a penalty, and they're going to find some way to screw it up.
Yeah, but I mean, luckily in future matches it doesn't matter because this is the end for sure.
Yeah, and the really crappy thing about this was, well, Villa were busy losing at West Ham, Norwich were busy losing to Tottenham, and Norwich are 17th right now. We entered Tuesday 10 points behind them, and playing them at home this weekend. It was a matter of it was not going to take a freak stroke of luck for Villa to suddenly be only 4 points behind Norwich.
Yeah, come next Sunday even.
Yeah, it was very logically possible, and Villa pissed away that chance.
Yeah, in typical fashion too. You just have to look back at the Norwich match over the Christmas period too, and you could be 1 point behind them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wildly infuriating. At this point, I think, retweeted something. You're saying there's a 3% chance. Who is it that's been doing the relegation odds?
Yeah, it's Michael Kelly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Villa are what now? 97% to be relegated.
Yeah, I think you could start doing your probability a bit earlier this season, at least for one team.
Yeah, it's it's basically done. Had we won on Tuesday, I would have actually been fairly optimistic heading in today because win on Tuesday, win Saturday, and suddenly I think Villa could pull it out as the season comes to a close. But now I really don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, and obviously it's technically still not over. It's mathematically possible for Villa to survive, but yeah, every week you blow another great chance, and it's another hit to the confidence, and just slimmer and slimmer chances.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular? I mean, I don't think it's really worth dwelling on the details of West Ham
Yeah,
all that much. Was
I
there
mean,
anything
one
in
thing
particular you want to focus on?
yeah, just the fact that the squad's pretty banged up, pretty thin, not a lot of
Hmm.
depth, and everyone had to run an extra lot because Jordan Ayew just screwed his teammates over.
Yeah, absolutely, and really hung the club out to dry because it was Gabby's first start in eons, and Gabby is not all that great playing by himself to begin with. But if he has to play by himself with no support and he has to do it for a whole game, he's going to just tire so quickly. And he ended up having to get subbed off, and we had no strikers to replace him.
Oh yeah, he was going to get subbed off, I think, on 70 minutes, anyways, preferably when we were up by a goal.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably Remy's plan, but you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really bad position the Villa are in right now. And I think that's why we're all sort of giving up hope. Didn't bring in a striker during the window, and none of the strikers at the club are either healthy or capable of scoring a goal.
Yeah, none of the senior strikers, I guess. Maybe Jarrell Sellers comes in from the U21s.
Russian Hepburn Murphy?
No, I thought he was hurt.
Oh, damn.
I was like, well, at least he could be on the bench. Like, I was thinking that a couple weeks ago, but yeah.
Yeah, it just, I mean, at this point, it's an absolute nightmare. We're back to the point where I'm not sure if Villa can get 20.
God, that'd be bad. So I guess everyone had an opinion on Villa's transfer window in January. You thought it was good, bad, or you know, I guess it was pretty divisive, either good or bad. There wasn't a lot of people kind of in between, as Villa brought no players in.
Yeah, I mean, where did you fall? Were you okay with the fact that Villa did nothing over the window?
Yeah, I figured we were relegated, but then it was, I mean, people brought up the point that you could bring in players to kind of get a head start for the championship players, and just kind of see what they can do for the squad. And I don't think that would have been the worst idea. I think that's kind of what Lovre Kalinic would have been, and I was definitely in favor of us signing him. But as the window came to a close, and I mean, Villa have no money to spend.
Yeah, and that was made obvious. I mean, we hear these rumors that haven't really been hotly denied, so I'm taking them as truth that, you know, Remy had a couple of moves lined up and the board just refused to give him the money for them.
Yeah, maybe if he could have cleared Scott Sinclair, Charles Nzagbia off, then that would have saved some wages and therefore been enough to bring in new players. Because I think they were willing to bring in Kalinic. I mean, for sure they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they took it to arbitration with the FA. That's how willing to bring him in they were.
Yeah.
It was really strange because on deadline day, the fact that we did absolutely nothing, I was totally okay with, because at that point it would have been panic buying.
Yeah. At that point, I was definitely fine, especially
But in retrospect, the way Villa approached the entire month, I thought was totally a shambles.
Yeah, I mean, if you have people in mind, you're going to bring them in probably like the first week or two of January. Which, if you're going to do it then. You know, you have a lot of games in January. You can use those players.
Yeah,
don't wait until deadline day and pay too much money for them because you tried to get the price down the whole window.
Yeah.
You know,
Alex, I think, made a really good argument that, you know, if we had actually had a chance, Remy Gar should have done something over the holiday period. And I think he's right in some extent. That said, I think bring in a striker and suddenly, you know, these matches like a two-goal loss to West Ham, if you have a half-decent striker in there, maybe you're looking at a win. Maybe things have changed a little bit. And
maybe we just Sunderland, then spend the money. Spend $50 million. We could stay up at that point. But
so that's what frustrated me. It wasn't the lack of movement on deadline day, which I thought was probably smart. It was instead the lack of movement over the course of the whole month. It's
the lack of having a plan, you know.
Yeah. Villa are not one player from being a good team. Villa might have been one player from saving themselves this year.
Yeah, if you get Loic Remy and Mathieu Debuchy, then okay, that's better. And then I don't know, maybe you actually splash and sign a midfielder, and you say, okay, let's
Yeah.
try. And then
Yeah.
you have a new keeper that you can try. That's 2 meters tall and takes up half the goal just standing there. Like,
Yeah. I'm still absolutely furious about the fact that his work permit was denied.
yeah,
Just absolute, what a shambles. It's, you know, I get the idea that you have to have a certain amount of playing time for your international team, but that's for outfield players where there's, you know, 4 midfield positions to take. There isn't a lot of turnover, so you basically have one goalkeeper from every country that can apply.
yeah,
And that's absolutely ridiculous. It's, you know, it's an insular system created in a way that it benefits only the largest teams, and it benefits English players for no reason in particular.
yeah.
It's still just absolutely infuriating, and so yeah, I was pissed off at forces outside of Villa's control. I don't think the entire failure in January was Villa's fault, but I do think January was a failure.
Yeah, and by no means was it, can you put any of the blame on Remy Gard, because apparently he had some targets lined up, they vetoed them, and he left at 6 o'clock on deadline day, which, it's just don't really see that too often from managers.
Yep, absolutely. It was not great. I mean, if you want to know what he was up against, you had Michu turning us down to stay in the third tier of Spanish football.
Yeah, exactly. They were saying it's the reverse Jamie Vardy story of Michu. He was at a top club and then sold, and then now is in the third league or whatever.
Yeah, it's. So what do you do with that sort of thing? I don't know, and it just breaks my heart because I honestly do think one, maybe two players could have gotten Villa to safety this year, or at least put up a fight.
At least been in a position to play a major role for the club next season. If you bring in, I'm not saying a Jordan Rhodes would have been the answer next year even, but I guess he's worth 20 goals in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
And
although then again, we have a high-scoring championship striker in Rudy Gestede.
Yeah, but who can cross the ball?
That's a good point.
I guess Amavi can cross the ball, but
oh God! Remember that we have him coming back next year. I keep forgetting about him.
Well, if he doesn't get sold, I think he stays if Remy Gard stays, which takes us to our next topic of Remy Gard leaving, and kind of addressed it. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be too surprising.
Yeah, I would get it. I mean, you're the manager. You're come here with a mandate to fix this club, and you can't even get one player past the board for approval in January. Why would you stick at a place where they're obviously not willing to work with what you have in mind? They hired you for a reason.
You get bought out from your contract if you're going to leave.
Yeah, it just, I mean, I'd be pissed if I were Remy Gard. You paid how much to follow Tim Sherwood's dreams, and you won't pay anything to follow mine?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty damning.
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
Y'all trusted Tim Sherwood.
That way.
I mean, imagine the most withering French stare you can imagine as he says Tim Sherwood's name.
Yeah. Thanks.
So you think he ends up staying, though?
Yeah, I think he does.
All right, and if he does, do you think he's the right person?
Unless he gets absolutely zero money to spend in the summer, and in which case he leaves.
If he gets zero money to spend in the summer, Aston Villa will be in League One in a year and a half.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean, because the number of players we're going to lose will be rather astonishing, and if there's no money to rebuild at all, then we're just screwed. And I don't think
free signings and loans only.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is he'll get money in the summer at least from losing some of the players that are gone. And Zogby is off the books at the summer. I imagine we'll find a way to sell Gabby at some point. Stuff like that will happen.
We'll use Gabby. We'll use Gabby in the championship. No club in the top league is going to buy him.
He'll be a subpar striker in the championship as opposed to a shit striker in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Poor Gabby. I like Gabby, and I also never want him playing for us. Does that make sense?
Well, good thing he's always injured, except now we don't have any other strikers.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Gard would do well for us in the championship. I like his vision. I like the way Villa have been playing under him lately. Before it all got nuked.
Look at the start of the West Ham game. We were playing really well.
Yeah, before it got nuked with Ayew being an idiot, we were playing great. The one thing in the past month and a half that's really sucked was that Man City match. But other than that, I've liked what I've seen out of Remy Gard's side. I want to keep seeing this.
Yeah, and Man City is a really good team, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
please stay, Remy.
Let's go to Twitter questions. And first couple ones, we were kind of getting trolled by some of our other writers. Tom Jones said, "Would you rather fight 100 Barry Bannons or one John Carew?" And well, we get one of these every week, but I don't know.
100 Barry Bannons or one John
Carew is going to knock you out on the first punch, so you have to go with the Bannons because at least you have a chance.
Yeah, he's bigger than me and you.
Yeah.
As they say. Was that our first one? I don't even see that one.
It was from the original tweet. And when do you want your learner out? Scarf delivered from James Rushton, and that was great because just the ones with the U.S. flag crossed off. If anyone wants to send me that, I'll wear it. Or knows where I can get one.
Will you wear it on the Holtcast?
Yeah, why not? I'll wear it to the pub.
All right. Did you see?
I'll just start wearing it around because it will have an American flag cross off, and people will be like, "What?
You what, mate?"
Yeah.
Did you see Alf Wallace's?
Oh no. Where is that?
Alf. I'm not even sure if this was in response to the Holtcast.
No, I think this sent it to me this morning.
Yeah, no, this was from 8 days ago that he responded. But he just sent it this morning. Who would you rather fight, an Olaf Melberg-sized Carlos Hill or 3 Carlos Hill-sized Olaf Melbergs?
I'll take my chances with a Melberg-sized Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks like a school kid. I don't know if you guys are following James Rushton on Twitter. Was it James or was it you, Jack? Someone tweeted a video of Carlos Hill coming out of the tunnel, and he's got his backpack on, and it looks like it's the first day of school, and it was great.
Yeah, I think it was James, and I think I retweeted it.
It was so delightful. What else do we have from
here's one from Sean Bass at sbass1310. How much do you dread the lack of TV coverage after the drop? And yeah, hopefully all the games that we don't have on TV are ones we get pummeled like Man City.
God, I mean, if I'm being entirely honest with you, it would suck for Villa to drop for obvious Villa reasons, but my biggest worry is the fact that I will never get to watch them being here in the States.
Yeah, and for blog reasons.
Yeah, I mean, the blog will survive. 7,500 will continue.
It's hard to have, it's hard to know what's going on when you don't get to see it.
I'm going to start writing match reports that are based on like 7 tweets. I'll just pick 7 random tweets and write a match report based on them.
I think this is what happened.
And at that point, Gabby Agbanlahor grew a pair of wings and flew off.
I'd be more likely that I'm scoring.
Poor Gabby. Poor Gabby.
Next one from Les Worrell at Worrell Les. Shouldn't Villa give all the season ticket holders half their money back to apologize for conning them? Well, I don't think you can just give away customer income like that.
I was going to say, there's a part of me that wants to say yes, and then there's a part of me that says we couldn't even afford to buy anyone. How can we give customers money?
Yeah, I mean, you could refund them for the City match or for the West Ham. You could refund the away supporters for the West Ham match. And
oh, God, they should.
Just give everyone a free beer every game.
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Or water, whatever, or tea, or I don't know. If you don't
they could do a great promotion based on that. If you're pissed, get pissed.
Yeah, I don't think they can give away that much beer.
Try them.
That'd be like 10 beers per person. Okay.
I know James is watching right now. I'm pretty sure James would welcome
they should give
drunken level of beer.
For every beer that one person doesn't accept, they can give that one to James.
How about you get a free pie for every goal that Villa allow?
Oh my God, they're going to be out of business.
So many pies.
Eat all the pies. All right. Last one, I think, from AVFC Declan at AVFC Declan. What's the point? Seriously, what is the point anymore? And I have to agree. What is the point? Because
I imagine him
I
on his
mean,
knees shouting that to the heavens.
seriously though, like it's just hard. It's just hard to figure out what the direction Villa is going in right now is. I mean, there's a new board member today.
Yeah, he's a fan.
Yeah,
Great.
great.
It's, to the question of what's the point, my girlfriend gives me crap every weekend because we have enough people on the site now, and I've finally relinquished control of Twitter every match. And so I have, some of our writers do Twitter on some of the matches and do recaps. So realistically, there's nothing that I have to do. And she'll say, why are you watching? You don't have to be watching. And my response is, just kind of shrug and make a face.
Oh my God, did you see what James just tweeted us?
James Rushton, in response to our idea that we could give him free beer and pie, responded,
You can read that.
They can fuck their pies and beer. I want my life back.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone wants, but
what a joy. Oh, James, poor long-suffering James.
well, maybe he'll at least get to buy beer or pies as a good paying customer at Saturday's match against Norwich City.
Yay! And that's how you segue on a podcast.
And yeah, I mean, Villa Park Saturday, 3 GMT, 10 Eastern, afternoon match.
We need to start throwing in a random time zone. 3 GMT, 10 Eastern, and 7 a.m. in Fiji.
Yeah, or I don't know, what is it, 6 p.m. in India? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, 9 or 10, whatever.
Yeah, we have to pick some obscure location that's unhelpful.
Okay.
Yeah. This has been Podcast Notes with your hosts, Jack and Robert.
Yeah, so anyways, like you said a bit earlier, Norwich 17th with 23 points, 10 more than us, and last with 13. But here's some good news. Villa are unbeaten in their last 6 competitive home games against Norwich, 3 wins and 3 draws. Norwich have won just 1 out of 11 of their last road games, and Villa, though, here's the breaker, is Villa have won just 1 of their last 12 games at Villa Park. So yeah, for first couple of stats we're looking up, and then we realized that Villa can't win home or away. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is no longer a home or away thing. This is a Villa thing.
Yeah, just 7 points at home this season.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I don't know.
Here's another depressing one. Aston Villa have 13 points after 24 Premier League games this season. Each of the 4 teams to have previously won 14 points or fewer at this stage have ended the season in last place.
Hooray! We'll be the worst.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting punchy because of Aston Villa at this point.
Oh, and Norwich has yet to keep a clean sheet on the road this season. So here you go, Norwich.
Okay. We can score a goal. Let's do this. Let's score a goal. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure what to think of this match. I'm not sure who will have its striker. Lieber Kozak may be back. Gabby Agbanlahor, maybe. He might still be tired.
I think it's going to be Gabby to start.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. Hopefully we'll see that Lescott Okora in the center with Richards out right and Sissoko out left in the back.
Yeah, it's a perfectly fine back four to stay alive in the Premier League. And Mark Bunn's been decent enough lately, so I don't think you need any changes there.
Absolutely. Norwich tried to improve themselves. They got Naismith. Do you think that's going to help save them or keep them above the line?
I mean, they only have 2 teams really to beat out, and that's Sunderland and Newcastle, so they've got to like their chances. Maybe even Swansea would continue to tank, and will make it even easier for them.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know. Crystal Palace could continue tanking.
Yeah, exactly.
5 in a row.
They got off to 2. You lose to Villa, and your season's basically over. Back it in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is going to be a boring as hell match. I think it'll be 1-1.
Yeah, probably something dull like that.
I know we never predict, but there you go. It's 1-1.
Yeah,
It's
I
going to
mean,
be.
Liverpool played Norwich and they won 5-4, and that was a crazy match. It was just clown shoes though. Like no one was even good, and there wasn't even a save made until like there had already been 8 goals.
Yeah, it's God. I think this is going to be dreadfully boring. I don't think Norwich will challenge Mark Bunn all that much. I don't think Villa will challenge Norwich all that much. 1 goal happens each way just because, to give the whole den something to cheer about and be angry about, to cry into their beers and pies about.
Yeah, basically. I mean, Villa are just so bad and so thin. Like Ghana and Vertu played a lot. They had to run a whole lot, and Bakuna even as well. But
is this the week that Villa finally break us? If they lose, do we come back next week with the first episode of Cooking Pod?
Yeah, we might have to actually, because we could have a funeral episode first.
Oh, okay. Funeral episode, and then we have Cooking Pod.
Yeah.
I'm in. Because I'm literally out of things to say. Does it even matter if they win? If they won 7-0, would it even matter?
No, not really.
No.
It'd just be upsetting because like he couldn't have used one of those goals somewhere else. Come on,
assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's all I got for Norwich. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's all we got for the show actually. But remember, you can follow us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Follow along there, and we're still on iTunes, Stitcher, Blog Talk Radio, Google Play, and actually back on YouTube now. And for this episode, at least, still trying to look into our sound issues and fix that for you guys. So thanks for listening. As always, to the Holdcast, for Robert Lintott, I'm Jet Grimsey, and we'll see you next time.